your date! Bring out your date!
Well, folks, the rumor mill's really been cranking it up to 11 this week, and a lot of folks are starting to think that maybe Xbox as a brand is heading off to console Valhalla. I'll give you my thoughts on it here in just a few seconds, right after my spiffy new intro.
Look, when discussing the greatest up-and-coming YouTube channels, Pick Your Battles Collecting has to be included in the conversation. The host is funny, smart, and really sexy. If you're into video games, technology, and physical media, you have to give this channel a shot.
Well, y'all, the internet has been abuzz this week talking about the potential demise of Xbox as a hardware business. After it was revealed that Starfield is going to be coming to the PlayStation 5 and possibly other Xbox first-party titles as well, like the new Indiana Jones, a lot of folks are starting to speculate that perhaps Microsoft may be calling it quits then, that the Series X may very well be the final Xbox console. I have been an Xbox fan. Now, I wouldn't say a fanboy, but a fan from day one. I've had all the consoles, but with the exception of the 5, I've had all the PlayStations as well. Now, I've always preferred the Xbox, by and large, mostly because I've always preferred the controllers. I'll not deny that PlayStation usually had the better first-party titles. But as I get to thinking about it, Xbox going the way of Sega and the Dreamcast really makes a lot of sense, you know. Give me just a second to adjust my camera, will you? Got to get that spiffy new sign in the background showing. I'm not sure what happened there. Xbox from the get-go in all its iterations has never made a single penny of profit for Microsoft. Their profits have come exclusively from games and to a lesser degree accessories. And you have to think that with the way Microsoft has been buying up game development studios left and right, and I mean, I'm not talking about minor ones, we're talking about Bethesda, we're talking about Blizzard, we're talking about, and Activision. You got to think that they don't want to make that kind of investment unless they're going to see some major profits off of it. And let's just face it, the Xbox has been getting its absolute tail kicked for the last generation and this one. There's really no hope that it's going to catch up. PlayStation's the big dog on the block, and that's just how it is. And you got to think that Microsoft's been thinking, well, we'd probably stand a better chance of making more money if the games that are being developed by the studios we purchased were being played by the maximum number of gamers. And to that end, that's to a degree why they have, I had Game Pass going not only on Xbox but on PC as well, which is a move that to me makes sense, but it's not just PC that's available on. There's all sorts of devices that you can play Xbox games on, web, mostly streaming. I always felt like that devalued their console just a little bit. It's like, why have the Xbox when I can play the games and have the same experiences on multiple devices? I'm not locked into this particular piece of hardware, And I think, and again, I could be completely wrong, but my gut feeling says that the Series X is going to be it for Microsoft. I think after this, you're going to start seeing a lot of the Xbox classics, as crazy as it sounds, on PlayStation consoles, possibly even Nintendo. Take that with a grain of salt. But I very well believe it. We could see Gears of War and Halo and Forza and other Xbox first-party titles moving forward on PC and on PlayStation. And I'm really torn as to whether or not I think that's a good thing for gamers. On one hand, I'm a big believer that competition is always good for any industry. Because when you have major players, you have Sony, Nintendo, let's face it, Nintendo always kind of does its own thing. They're a video game company, yeah, but they don't move within the industry the same way that Microsoft and Sony do. but I always felt like competition, keeps the big guys in check. It keeps them from, trying to go overly crazy with their pricing and with some of the moves that they make with gamers, because there's always another option. And without Microsoft in the picture, I would hope that Sony wouldn't just go completely off the rails and just think, well, if folks want a game, it's either PC or us. So we'll just run this whole industry the way we want to. I could see it happening. I hope it won't, but I could see it happening. But I want to go back in history a little bit, just my own personal experiences with the Xbox. I remember when the original Xbox was set to debut, and at least in my area, they were sold out pretty consistently. At the time, we had two stores in our mall, actually three. Three. We had GameStop, we had Radio Shack, and we had KB Toys. And at those, they all sold video games. Radio Shack, not as much, but they did. I don't think a lot of people remember that, but there was a time when Radio Shack did sell consoles and games. Wasn't the biggest selection, but they did sell them. And at least in my mall and in my area, you didn't see Xboxes shortly after release on the shelves too much. But I never really got my first experience with one until I went to one of my dearest and oldest friends' house, Brandon, who had an Xbox, and on that he had Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. And honestly, I was hooked from the load screen, from the boot up screen for the Xbox, just that cool green glowing logo and the sound effects and everything. And I just thought it was the greatest thing ever. So the very next Christmas, I found myself in possession of one. And first game I played on it was Morrowind, and that was my introduction to the Elder Scrolls series. That game ate my life from there on. And of course, as time went on, I got the Xbox 360. Initially, I got the white model, and then I don't think I had it 2 weeks when I realized that Sears was having a special sale, and one of the consoles that they had was the Halo 3 Master Chief Edition, right? So I went ahead and made up some BS story and returned it, and got the Halo Chief, or the Halo, the Master Chief, Halo 3. Y'all, I can't talk tonight. It's been a long day. The Halo 3 edition Xbox 360, the green and gold one. If you've seen it, it's sexy. I miss mine. I wish I hadn't sold it. Maybe one day I'll have it again. But that was when I got into online gaming. I did it to a lesser extent on the original Xbox, had some fun there, but I mean, really came into my own on Xbox 360. And that's where that's where gaming really came into its own as far as the online component of it. To a lesser degree of PlayStation 3. They had a little trouble that generation. And I had a whole lot of fun with it. And I've just enjoyed Xbox ever since, and the thought of there not being another Xbox console, on one hand, it hurts my feelings a little bit. It kind of kicks me, in the nostalgia. And I hate to see it go. I think the same way that a lot of people were sad to see Sega call it a day when they put a stop to a production of the Dreamcast and became a third-party developer. And again, nobody knows that this is the case, but Phil Spencer did respond to these rumors on X, sort of, when he basically said, "Hey, we're listening. We hear you. There are." Basically, he's saying, there's a business meeting of some sort, or business plan meeting. I forget the exact words. I'll put the tweet up on the screen for you to read. But it was one of those things where he didn't outright deny the rumors. And there's so much more that makes sense about Microsoft going the developer route than staying in hardware, where, after 4 generations and you've never turned a profit. I think any sensible business, especially one like Microsoft, even though they have unlimited pockets, they see the writing on that wall finally. They're like, we're just not going to be able to compete on the hardware end. So let's go balls to the wall with third-party development. Again, I've never been one to be a diehard fanboy of giant corporations because they don't care about you. The people, the higher ups, they're not your friends. They're not your buddies. They really, truly don't give two shits what your opinion is about what they do and how they operate. But I don't know. Xbox it'll always have a soft spot in my heart. If it goes away, I think I'll be nostalgic for the brand. But if I'm being completely honest, I do have a Series X, and I rarely ever touch it. I play my Xbox One and my Xbox One library far more. And that's mainly because the hardware manufacturers and game manufacturers, they're really going more digital than anything. And a lot of the games that are being produced have a heavy online component. And while I did enjoy that for a time, I find that online gaming just isn't for me. So I don't know that I feel like I'm missing out if there aren't any future Xboxes. You know what I'm saying? I'll always look back with fondness for what the brand has provided in terms of entertainment over the years, but life goes on and the world changes. So what do you think, folks? Do you think that Microsoft is going to pull the plug on Xbox? If you do, leave a comment and comment about how you feel about that. I will say one thing, though. If this does happen, I think a lot of folks who have purchased the Series X or Series S, they're really going to be, I think they're going to be angry. They're going to feel like they were sold a bill of goods. They're going to feel like, Microsoft knew what was coming down the pike, and I don't necessarily think they did. At least not at first. I think if they did, if they knew they had these plans in place, they wouldn't have bothered even releasing the Series X or trying to compete. I think they really entered this generation in earnest and wanted to prove their mettle against Sony. But after 4 times in a row, it just, getting your tail kicked, even though the 360 did very well. We all remember the Red Ring of Light debacle, and that ended up costing, I think it cost them something like $4 billion in all the repairs and replacements they had to provide, and that just negated any profits they would have made on it. Any good business, regardless of the industry, when they do something long enough that doesn't work and they try every approach to get it to work and it still doesn't, if they have any sense, they'll pull the plug. And I kind of feel like that's what's happening here, and I feel like that's been coming for a long time. Anyway, excuse me. I'm going to call it a night because I have to get to sleep. Got to go to work tomorrow, unfortunately. And I hope you all have a fantastic night. And again, hey, I've gotten some new subscribers lately. I think just 2 weeks ago, I was only at like around 60, 61 subscribers. Now I'm at 76. That puts me 24 away from 100. So, if you could like, share, comment, maybe cajole a buddy or two into coming and checking the channel out, I would appreciate it. Anyway, y'all have a fantastic night. Much love to you all, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, yeah, and one more thing. I forgot that I won a PlayStation 4 on Whatnot on a mystery show. And my winning bid was $10. And with that $10, I got a golden ticket, which put me in a drawing for a handful of the larger prizes, one of which was a PlayStation 4. And this has been sitting in my floor for, I don't know, about a week now. And I'm going to sell it. I mean, I just am. Because I already have a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 4 Pro, so I'm good on PS4. And I got a handful of games, too, from other mystery bags. I can see there's like an NBA 2K20. I couldn't care less about basketball, y'all. It's, no offense if you love basketball. To me, it's not even a sport. It's a hobby. It's a playground activity. It's not a sport. But, yep. Regular PlayStation 4, I'm not going to take all the bubble wrap off because, frankly, I can't be arsed. And it's wrapped up pretty tightly. So shout out to Retro Raven. They did a great job wrapping this sucker. Anyway, toodaloo.